Hey guys, Eric for Air Games here, and this is going to be a little bit different than usual. Today I'm actually going to be going to my other favorite hobby other than video gaming, which is Magic the Gathering. I am a huge card nerd, and I love the game. I actually just got back from the pre-release just a couple minutes ago, and got a lot of interesting things to talk about, because there are some really amazing sleeper cards in that set, and if I hadn't used them to win a few games, I would never have believed they were half as good as they were. So, well, in a second, you're going to see what I mean.
Alright, for the first card, it's, okay, I'm just going to admit I have a bit of a bias here, so hope you'll forgive me. I have a bias towards green. Obsessive Skinner, a 2-drop 1/1 that puts a +1/+1 counter on target creature when it enters the battlefield. It can hit itself to make it a bear for a 2/2 for 2, which is useless. It's that Delirium ability, though. As soon as there's 4 types of cards in the graveyard, and yours specifically, each and every opponent's upkeep, you're going to put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. So this guy can get big. I wouldn't recommend that. I would put it on another creature, maybe something with double strike or your general if it's commander. I mean, this is the best 2-drop. It's just, this card is very good. It's cheap to buy at maybe like 25 cents for an uncommon. It's cheap to cast for a 2-drop, and it gives you more benefit the more opponents you have. And the Delirium ability won't really matter because you put things in the graveyard all the time. A couple creatures, land, sorcery, instant, maybe an enchantment, and you're set. This is just a really good card to flesh out your board. Next one up, Trail of Evidence. Can I get a little closer here? See that? Good, it zoomed in. 3-drop, 2 colorless, blue enchantment. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, investigate. It's a little less powerful than whenever you cast one, draw, but this gives you the option to draw on command, so you can't be tricked into it. Now, there is a mana investment to do it, but blue is notorious for holding all its little trigger abilities till the end of the person right before them's turn, so they can fill up their hand when they need to. This just means they need less cantrips, because it's good. And in a commander deck especially, I could see this seeing play very frequently, because heck, even just in a green-blue deck where every instant sorcery is some kind of a mana search, this could be useful because it would give that deck an extra leg just to stand on with draw as well. Incredibly useful. And again, it's just an uncommon. Then comes Geist Blast. 3-drop, red, 2 colorless, 1 red. It's an instant and it does 2 damage to target creature or player. Meh. But if you cast it from the graveyard, or specifically 2 colorless and a blue, exile Geist Blast, wow, I can't speak today, from your graveyard, copy instant, target, or sorcery spell, or target instant or sorcery spell, whatever. You may choose a new target for the copy. It's a spell you control too, but the card itself is useless, but the flashback cost, which for some reason they didn't call flashback, I'm shrugging, you just can't see behind the camera. Yeah, it's just very useful because it's a good cost. And unlike a lot of spells, yeah, your opponent might know you have it, but that is an extra level of just say, hey, you really want to try and screw with me? I might have only a little mana available, but it's enough to screw you over. Not to mention, it's just so versatile. The 2 damage isn't anything to write home about, but just having that extra little bit of copy on hand, it's very useful. Next up, Hermit of the Natternals. A 3-drop, 2 colorless, green, human werewolf flip card. It's a 2/3 to start with, so it has a decent body for 3. And whenever an opponent casts a spell during your turn, draw a card. So it punishes blue players because you can start filling up a green player's hand, and that always goes bad. Like every single time a green player has draw, it just makes them so much worse for the opponent, better for them. And then you get to his flip ability. Really punishing blue, because whenever an opponent casts a spell during your turn, you draw 2 cards. Now, it's a must, not a may, so a good blue opponent can really screw you over, but that's a level of planning, and it would be an odd circumstance. The ending result, though, is you have a 3/5, which is a pretty damn good body, and you're going to punish anyone casting spells during your turn. And since it's your turn, you can still use them, if they're not instant, that is. But just, it's a great way to punish a blue deck, maybe even a white deck if they're trying to exile your shit, which is actually in the pre-release what I ended up using this guy for. They kept trying to hit my creatures when I was doing stuff, and I was just drawing more answers than they could come up with. It's a very useful card for that, if nothing else. I can see it getting played in a few formats, and it's not a very bad card when it comes to mana cost. And the last card. This is, I could see this card fitting in the best either with a very centralized control deck with very little other options, or in Commander. Rise from the Tides. A 6-drop, so it's a little mana prohibitive, but it's 5 colorless and a blue, which means you don't need to have too much of a certain mana type. You can put it into a multicolored deck without too much trouble. Put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield tapped for each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard. How do I get over this one? Let's see. Any deck that has a very strong control element, the biggest problem is sometimes you focus so on control that you run out of options to really take someone out. That's why Grinding Clock became a thing, or just some of the easy mill cards, because you had enough board control you can wait the people out and just take out all their options. This means that if you have enough things that you've been controlling the game long enough, and you've shut down the board, maybe late game, cast this out, you have an army, you swing in, and they still can't do anything because you're still blue and you're still cutting them down everywhere. It's just a great way to turn around a control deck that has really few options into one that has an overwhelming win condition. This card is the blue card that will end a game. If you cast it for anything else, I don't really see the point. But this is the card you only see when they plan on winning. It's very good, and it's not expensive to get, money-wise. Mana-wise, 6 is a little prohibitive. But in a Commander deck, it's not as bad. But, yeah. Those are the 5 cards that I thought were just completely... They're so much better than people seem to realize, and honestly, I'm going to pick up a few copies of them. There's a few other cards I want to get to, but for right now, these are the ones that just... If you see them, they're quite amazing. They are hidden gems in this set. And I'll be honest, Shadow over Innistrad has a lot of them. There's so many good cards. And don't even get me started about some of the really big ones that everyone knows about. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and don't worry, I'll get back to my usual gaming videos eventually. I just want to do a few of these because I'm so psyched out of this new Magic set. Thanks for watching. Later.